The Detroit Pistons, in what I believe was possibly the best win, most fun win of the season, defeat the New York Knicks after all the trash talk that was coming from New York in the beginning of this game. They shut down the Knicks. They get the win. We'll talk about it, break it all down. Today's episode of Locked On Pistons podcast. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Kuka Hill. I've been covering the Detroit Pistons for 4 years now with the Locked On Pistons podcast. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. The playback room was jumping tonight. If you want to be a part of the watch parties for the Pistons games, I'll link the playback room down below. Also, if you want to join the SUBSTACK, I'll link that down below for you guys as well. Also, head over to LockedOnDaily.com. Type in your email, and you will get a Locked On Pistons daily newsletter along with your Locked On Pistons daily podcast. But before we even get into any of this game chat, we have to talk about it.
What I said earlier, don't touch me, I'm sizzling.
Cade went off in this game. We're going live over on YouTube. This is a live recording of the podcast. The chat is going crazy. The Pistons beat the New York Knicks 115-106. Now, let me just make this clear to you guys. I was not expecting. I already recorded a podcast for you guys today concerning Jane Ivey and the breaking news with that, him being cleared for activity. So I was like, you know what? I'll probably wait till tomorrow to record this podcast. I don't want to double post. Because I saw the Knicks were sitting some of their players. I was like, you know what? Maybe this game doesn't go as well. I'll wait till tomorrow to post. Absolutely not. Absolutely freaking not. In the beginning of this game, because part of me almost thought at the beginning of this game that the Knicks would, they're sitting two players. They're sitting two of their starters. Are they just kind of like taking it easy? They don't really want to send a message to the Pistons like I thought maybe they would. If that case, okay, then there's not that big of a deal. But early in this game, in the first quarter, the Knicks were talking so heavy to the Detroit Pistons and trying to send a message to them. It was very clear. It was very clear from the get-go, the physicality the Knicks were playing with, how they were playing, and the type of trash talk, how often, how just blatant they were getting in the Pistons' faces, and how much they were talking. They were trying to bully the Pistons. They were trying to set the tone and let them know, you guys do not want this matchup. We hear all the rumors about you guys want us in the playoffs. You guys think we're a better matchup than the Pacers. We're here to send you a message. You guys do not want us. You guys are not on our level. And the first half, not going to lie, they had us in the first half. The Knicks were up by double digits. They were playing really well. Their offense was clicking. The Pistons defense couldn't get any stops. Their offense was really struggling in the half court. In the first half, it looked like, okay, this might get out of hand. But the Pistons cut the lead down. They dwindled it down. And they end up beating the Knicks. And the team that was going from talking so much in the beginning of this game, all of a sudden was very quiet in that second half. All of a sudden, Brunson, who was talking crazy to Cade after he picked up his second foul in the first quarter, all of a sudden, you don't see Brunson talking at all in the second half. All of a sudden, you don't see him talking at all in the fourth quarter. Instead, you see him miss a wide open three to cut it to 2 points off a Pistons turnover with like 30 seconds left. You see him miss 3 free throws and miss another easy bunny in the fourth quarter. That's what I saw happen after he was talking crazy to Cade. By the way, this is just another game from Cade where he outplays Jalen Brunson and gets the win. He's done it 3 times now this year. There's so many players I want to talk about in this game. There's so many players I want to give shout outs to in this game for the Detroit Pistons. So many. This was it was led by one person, but this was a complete team win from the Pistons. It was an absolutely fantastic game to watch. And I think that this might be my favorite Cade game of his career. I think this might be my favorite Cade game of his career. He had 36 points in this game, 16 of 24 from the floor, 2 of 5 from deep, missed 2 free throws, didn't like that. But had 36 points and 8 assists in this game. This might have been, seriously, my favorite game from Cade. And I'm going to tell you guys why. The pace and patience and how surgical he was in this second half within the half court was the type of stuff. Now, look, I am not saying he is on this level, so do not take this literal. But the way in which he was playing so patiently, surgically, getting down to the post, playing beneath the three-point line, seeing the doubles coming, waiting, letting the doubles clear out, and then attacking, waiting for this defense to get to where he wants, and then attacking, playing just with the most perfect pace and surgically dominating the Knicks in mismatches, getting the mismatch over and over, waiting for the double to leave, then attacking and scoring. It was like that. That is the type of stuff you see from MVP players. That is the kind of stuff you see from LeBron, you see from Jokic, you see from Luka. He usually at times Cade can get a little rushed. And when he tries to go after mismatches, they can get him with a late double. He'll turn the ball over, get forced into a tougher shot. He was absolutely surgical in the second. He dominated this game in the second half. Completely dominated the Knicks in the second half. The amount of hockey assist he had in this game because of how patient he was playing out the Knicks defense. Every time he got within the half court in the second half and he went after a mismatch, the Knicks wanted to send a double. But the Pistons played this smartly. They had a good shooter one pass away on the wing when he went to post up. And instead of Cade going directly at it and rushing into this mismatch, slowly takes the ball, waits for the shooter to clear out, waits for the double to slowly clear out, and then immediately goes and attacks, takes his time, and gets to the paint, gets the easy shot every time. It was surgical what Cade did in the second half. I mean, it was amazing. It seriously might be my favorite game I've ever watched him play. Not the most points he's ever scored, not the most assists he's had in a game, not the best defensive game he's ever played. Not, he doesn't have, I mean, he had 36 points, but it wasn't one of his, craziest stat line games. But the way in which he played in that second half was that of a superstar. That is the way you see superstars hunt mismatches and within a half court in a slowed down game, just surgically pick a team apart. It was fantastic. It seriously might be my favorite Cade game ever. I loved it. And he dominated the matchup against Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was looking like he was going to have a crazy game. In the first half, he was going crazy. First half, he looked like he was going to go off. Ended up 5 of 15. Yet again, in another matchup against Cade Cunningham, in another matchup against the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham outplays Jalen Brunson and gets another win. They have now won the season series 3-1. And I understand that they did not play Josh Hart, that they did not play OG Anunoby. I will say, just briefly, I do think their offense in the first half was a bit helped by the fact they weren't playing Hart because they were playing 5 out and it was making it hard for the Pistons to guard. So I do think that might be something you might see the Knicks do in the playoffs offensively. But yeah, they didn't have those two guys fair. But again, if you watch this game, they were not throwing this game. They were not taking this game. They were trying to punk the Pistons in the first half. They were absolutely trying to punk the Pistons and bully them and let them know you're not ready for us. They were trying to send that message. And the Pistons took that uppercut. They took the hook, took a couple punches, got back up, and knocked the Knicks the hell out. Knocked them the hell out. And then one of my favorite play of the game, not going to lie to you guys. My favorite play of the game was them throwing the oop at the end of the game. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. You can dribble the clock out. You definitely could have done it. But the Knicks were talking so crazy at the beginning of this game. I couldn't believe the amount of trash talk that Jalen Brunson was sending towards Cade's way 5 minutes into the game. PJ Tucker, the corpse of PJ Tucker was talking crazy to the Pistons. The Knicks were, if it wasn't for that, I would have been all for it. I usually am okay with just dribbling the clock out. But thank you, God, that Cade threw that alley-oop to Duren to end the game despite dribbling the clock out and to send a message to the Knicks. You guys ain't punking us. We just sent y'all bleeps home. I'm ready to go crazy on the podcast. We just sent y'all home back to New York. We'll see y'all in a few weeks, and we'll send y'all home in the first round, too. We'll be ready for y'all. I'm happy as hell they sent that message. Happy as hell. Cade, fantastic game. Great win from the Detroit Pistons. They stay alive for the 5th seed, potentially. Might not even match up with the Knicks. Might end up with the Indiana Pacers if they win these final 2 games against the Bucks. We'll see, but this is a great win from the Detroit Pistons. Coming up, though, we will talk about the other teams, or not the other teams, I'm sorry, the other players that deserve massive shout-outs for how they played this game. And there's a lot of them. But there is one player that I absolutely cannot wait to get to who impacted this game and had maybe the greatest scoreless game I have ever witnessed in my life. We'll talk about who that is coming up. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 24-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order up to $10 off, the next day from noon to midnight. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Plan to catch the next game? Order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount and get ready for more high-scoring action. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50. That is promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more today with DoorDash. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. You guys want to be part of the watch parties for these Pistons games, especially in the playoffs? I'll link the playback room down below. It was jumping today. It was a crazy game. Go ahead and join it if you haven't already. It's a lot of fun. If you want to join the Substack, see some of the film breakdowns and articles I've been writing for the Detroit Pistons as well, along with this audio and video content. I'll link that down below as well. And also head over to LockedOnDaily.com, type in your email, and you'll get a Locked On Pistons daily newsletter along with your Locked On Pistons daily podcast. I got content for you guys for days in every which way or form. You want your best Pistons coverage, it's right here. You know what it is. Before we get into this player, I do want to let you guys know, if you guys would like me to host a live recording of the podcast this playoffs, downtown Detroit before a playoff game, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the chat. Something I'm thinking about doing. If we have enough people wanting to turn out, we might actually do it, but I want to make sure we're going to have a good turnout. So if you want that, you would be down to come show up. Let me know however way, on Twitter, YouTube comments, YouTube community, whatever. All right. This player, look, Isaiah Stewart, but I'm never going to try to sugarcoat. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Isaiah Stewart just played, I think, the greatest 0-point game I've ever watched. Now, as I say that, I want you guys to know I wasn't old enough to really remember a lot of Ben Wallace's prime. So I'm sure Ben probably had a lot of 0-point games where he was just, crazy and impacted the game. But from what I've seen in my time remembering watching this team, that I can remember, I really, since I would say probably 2010 is probably the best my memory gets when I remember almost every game. Isaiah Stewart just played the greatest 0-point game I've ever seen. Stu had 0 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 block. And I think he was arguably the Pistons' second best player in this game. I think you can make a legit argument he was the second best player in this game. He was absurdly impactful within this. I at the end of the game when I saw his box score, I was like, there's no damn way that's a box score. There is no way that he didn't score. There's no way he didn't grab more rebounds. There's no way he didn't get more block shots. There's just no way. I refuse to believe that was the case. But the way in which he shut down Karl-Anthony Towns, and maybe shut down's a little harsh because Carl I don't want to make it sound like Cat played trash. He had 25 points and 10-19 shooting, but he had 7 turnovers. And when Stu was guarding him in the second half, he was completely clamping him down. The defense by the Detroit Pistons when Isaiah Stewart was on the floor was absurd. The reason why the Pistons were able to get back into this game, and the reason why the Pistons will be able to potentially win a playoff series, is because their defense leads to offense. Their defense leads to fast break opportunities. Their defense leads to transition opportunities. They are not the greatest half-court offense. While Cade did pick the Knicks apart in this game in the half-court, like I said in the first segment, it was great what we saw from Cade. The Pistons are not a great, on the season, they have not been a great half-court offense. Their offense comes from fast break, from transition, from getting stops, turnovers, all those kind of things. And Stu was at the center of it in this game. The numbers are not going to do him justice. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame the numbers won't do him justice, but I promise you, if you watch this game, they were going to close with him in this game. In the second half, he played 12, 13, 14 straight minutes. It was going to close if he didn't foul out. How great his defense was when the Pistons surged back into this game. How they were dominating his minutes in the second half. It was crazy. Isaiah Stewart was fantastic, and he deserves all the praise possible. Absolutely all the praise possible. That dude he is not just a fighter. He is not just a rough rider. He's not just someone who plays dirty. Stu is one of the best backup bigs, if not the best backup big in the NBA. He is one of the best players off the bench in the NBA because of how damn impactful he is defensively. He was fantastic in this game. So I wanted to give Stu his time on this episode. It was great. It was absolutely great to watch. Next player I want to shout out. And again, like I said, there's a lot of them because this was a team win. Ron Holland. You guys know that I am the Asar guy. You guys understand that. Honestly, I think most Pistons fans love Asar. But Asar did not have it in this game. He had been playing great the last 7 games. He was averaging like 16 points a game, I believe. He did not have it in this game. For whatever reason, it didn't seem like he was impactful in this game. He missed a few bunnies at the rim. 0 of 4. He only took 4 shots. He wasn't as impactful in this game. And on other nights, I would be sitting here saying, I don't care that he's 0 of 4 from the field. His defense is that impactful. You should have him on the floor no matter what. Most nights I would say that. Tonight, this was absolutely the right decision to not close with him because Ron Holland, I think, may have just had his most impactful game of the year. This game, what Ron Holland did in this second half, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 2 from deep, a clutch, absolutely, I almost swore again, clutch block after getting beat backdoor, hustles, gets the block. I forget who it was that cut back. I think it might have been McBride. Blocks the chase, gets the chase down block. The finishes that Ron had within the half court, cutting to the basket, those weren't easy finishes for Ron. Those were through contact, through contests. Those were some crazy finishes from Ron, and they came in a pivotal time in this game. They needed each one of those cuts, each one of those finishes from Ron Holland, and the Pistons, up until I believe around like the minute 45 mark, 2-minute mark, when they took them out and went like pure offense, they had a Cade, Beasley, THA Schroeder lineup out there. Up until that point, he absolutely deserved to be on the floor, and it was not a mistake to sit Asar during that time. Asar wasn't having his greatest game, and if Ron wasn't as impactful as he was, I would have said, put Asar back out there, you need his defense. But Ron was holding his own defensively, was impacting this game incredibly well on the offensive end of the floor. He deserved those minutes, and I've said it like 30 times. I'm going to say it 30 more times. The Pistons have their wings of the future. In 2 to 3 years, Asar Thompson and Ron Holland are going to be an absolutely frightening wing tandem for the Pistons for years. Ever since I took over this podcast, you guys who've been listening for years, you guys remember, I've been sitting here begging for years for the Detroit Pistons to have legit athletic wings to match up with the NBA. In a few years, the Pistons will have one of the best wing tandems in the NBA. Ron Holland and Asar Thompson will be a nightmare in a few years. Let Ron develop a 3. Let Ron develop a 3. He's shown some nice progress this year already, but let him get to a point where he can hit open 3s consistently, and you can play Ron and Asar together in 2 to 3s. Let that get to a point. Good luck. GG's. Good luck to everyone who goes against them because they're going to be frightening in transition. They're going to be frightening defensively. I can't wait until Ron gets to that point of his game. Maybe Asar does it. I think that's incredibly unlikely, but one of them, I think it's pretty likely it's going to be Ron. But whichever one of them develops a shot, once they're able to play on the floor together, it may take a minute. Again, like I said, it may take 2 years. But when it gets there, they got their wings of the future, man. They got their wings of the future. It's crazy. Truly, it's crazy. And I know we've talked about this throughout the year. It's truly crazy that you just watched this team win 14 games last year. And then a year later, not only do you have a superstar, not only do you now have what you believe is your center of the future, you feel like you're confident in all these things. You may have you had it last year on the roster, but it wasn't confident. People weren't confident that this was the case. You just won 14 games. 1 year later, you're confident you have your superstar. You're confident you have your starting big of the future. You're confident you have your backup big of the future. You're confident that you have your wings of the future. And you're pretty confident that you have at least, however you feel about Ivy, another piece of the court, whether it's starting next to Cade, the second guy, where you have all of these guys you feel confident now are answers to your future. Just a year later, after 14 games. It's honestly insane. But Ron played a fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic game. Him and Stu off the bench were huge for this team in the second half. Absolutely huge. And I want to give a shout out before we get to the final segment where we'll talk about a few other players that I really want to give credit to. We'll stay with the bench here. Dennis Schroeder, I thought, was not having a good game tonight at all, but had an absolute dagger of a floater and one. Don't know how he made it. Don't know how he was able to get this on the rim, but he was able, with around a minute left in this game, get to the basket, throw up a floater, and put a dagger to the Knicks' heart and one. Incredibly tough shot. Insanely tough shot from Schroeder after having what I believe was a tough game offensively. I thought he actually was pretty good defensively on Brunson. He was frustrating the hell out of Brunson. But offensively, I thought he had a struggle of a game. Came through in that moment. Dagger, good stuff from Schroeder. This was a team win. Coming up, though, this veteran, we're going to talk about this dude. He needs to go ahead and buy the battle pass, guys. Someone needs to go ahead and donate the battle pass to Tobias Harris, so Tobias can get some emotes, man. Tobias, we love you. Toby, we love you. Uncle T, you're the veteran of the squad, but someone's got to get the battle pass for Tobias, man. We can't be having the normal emote one every time he scores. We can't have the normal emote one every time he gets a clutch bucket. We got to have something else. We gotta have some juice. We gotta have some juice with the celebration, with the cellies. We got Ja throwing grenades into the crowd. We gotta have some juice with the cellies, Tobias. We'll talk about Tobias' game and some other players that really showed up in this game coming up. There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute MLB showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA matchup. But finding great seats at a great price, that used to be a challenge until I found Game Time. Game Time makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the event gets closer. With the all-in pricing, you see the total cost up front, no surprises at checkout. You can save up to 60% off buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever event you plan on going to. You can grab last-minute seats for whatever game you want to go to, maybe even a playoff game this year for the Pistons, and save big with their zone deals. With seat views before you buy, no surprise fees, and a lowest price guarantee, you can book with total confidence and have a peace of mind when you're purchasing your tickets. Their lowest price guarantee means you never have to worry about overpaying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed with Game Time. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. It's another great way to support the podcast. You guys already know about the links in the description down below. If you haven't checked it out, another great way to support me, get more content. Playback room, join the watch parties for the Pistons games. Subscribe to the Substack. Got content coming to you guys all the time over there as well. And also, Locked On Pistons Daily Newsletter. Head over to LockedOnDaily.com. Type in your email. You'll get that every single day with your Locked On Pistons Daily podcast. All right, so look, joking around, I was throwing some funny jokes at Tobias. I'm sure he would laugh at it. Because Tobias hit a big-time clutch bucket at the end of this game. He returned. I guess I should have started off with that. He was out the last few games. He did return in this game. Played a good game. I thought Tobias had two incredibly impactful plays down the stretch here. The first play was the Pistons were struggling to get boards in this game. They were getting boarded on the glass. It felt like in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter and late in the fourth quarter, the Knicks were surviving and staying into it because they couldn't get any defensive rebounds. I remember one specific play that Stu went after a shot, had a crazy defensive possession, went after a shot, but no one had his back, and they get an offensive rebound, and then they get 3 out of it. They weren't able to get defensive rebounds. And I forget the exact moment it had happened. It was in the final 3 minutes of this game. Game's close. They need a defensive rebound. They get an incredible stop. Stu rotates over, contests the shot. Tobias comes crashing down, fights with the Knicks player for a rebound, and ends up getting fouled, hustling for the rebound. Hustling with them, was tangled up with them, ripped it away, got fouled. Look, it's not a highlight dunk. It's not a highlight poster. It's nothing like that. But those are the type of plays you need from your veterans to close out games like this. They could not get a defensive rebound for their life. in a pivotal moment when Stu goes and protects the rim again, someone needs to crash the glass. Someone needs to finally get a rebound with the Knicks playing extremely hard, going to the glass, and Tobias went and did that. That was incredibly impactful for him. And then also he came back down, multiple buckets for Tobias in the fourth quarter, especially his last one, posting up, I believe it was Mikal Bridges, hitting him with I don't want to say a dream shake, but a fake spin, fadeaway jumper off the glass, cooked it. And then that's when we start getting the normal one emote where like it felt like Tobias didn't want to show too much emotion, but he had way too much emotion to completely hide it. So his best way of just letting it out was a quick like chest bump and like a partial smile, but not really trying to hold it in. But just all he had in the bag was just a quick chest bump. We gotta get something for Toby. Beasley, if you happen to watch this episode, Ashton, Camden, Cade, so if someone ends up watching this episode, I'm sure one of you guys end up will. If someone does, bro, you guys gotta help him out. You guys gotta help out Toby with the celebrations, dog. Gotta give him something. We can't have all these cool stuff. We got Malik with the hip shake. We can't have all these dudes ready with that, and all Tobias got is the little chest bump. We gotta give Tobias something, help him out. But Tobias had a really good game, man. He came through for the Pistons big time, and this game really showed how impactful he is. How impactful he is and why you need him on the floor. You absolutely need him on the floor. Chat, we are live. We are live. This is a live recording of the podcast. We are live. I see you guys in the comments. Everyone's hyped. This is a big time. I had to go live recording for this podcast. Had to go live recording. If you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, you want to be a part of a live episode, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. But we had to go live. This was a big time win. We had to all talk about it together. But Tobias, great game for him. Great game for him. You saw why he's so impactful. They need him if they're going to win the playoffs. Jalen Duren, look, we're talking about Stu having a great game. Stu was fantastic. He was absurd, and they probably were going to close with Stu, which was the right decision. But let's not overlook how great Jalen Duren was. Jalen Duren had 18 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block on 9 of 9 shooting in this game. He was bullying Cat underneath the rim in the paint. He was having his way in the paint versus the Knicks here. He had a fantastic game too. Just because they were deciding to close with Stu doesn't mean Duren wasn't having a great game. He was having a fantastic game offensively. In the first half, when the Pistons couldn't get anything going in the half court, guess who was scoring? It was Duren. Offensive putbacks, driving from the high post, getting to the basket. It was Duren that was keeping their offense somewhat alive. He had a fantastic game. Again, you may see in the playoffs if they match up with the Knicks, even if they match up with the Pacers, you may see the Pistons go with Stu and close with him. And it may have nothing to do with Duren. Duren can have a great game, and because of how impactful Stu is defensively against the opposing team's 5, it may just be better to close with Stu. That's part of that's the pros of having 2 insanely valuable bigs on your team. The Pistons have depth at that position now. They have both Duren and Stu, who both are incredibly impactful in what they do, and you can go with either one closing down the stretch. That wasn't the case for the first, 30 games of the year? Since January, they've been so good. And you saw, I thought this was a perfect example of their tandem. Duren holds the offense up. He's active on the defensive end. He's active on the glass. He has a great game. And then Stu comes in, helps close the game out because of how impactful defensively. I mean, that's just a perfect tandem. I thought it was a great example of it again. And the final person we'll go ahead and shout out, we're going to go back to Cade Cunningham. I'm not going to lie to you. I have to finish it off with Cade. Guys, let me know over on Twitter, in the comment section, wherever you're at. Maybe you're wondering, cool, why are you going back to Cade? I thought we were going to keep talking about other players. No. I can't get over. I can't get over how good of the second half this man Cade played. Like, I'm seriously still in awe. If you have not watched this Knicks game, I recommend you guys do whatever you have to do, buy a league pass, whatever you got to do to watch this again and watch how Cade played within the half court, how patient he played in the second half. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you see in the playoffs, dude, from superstars. I'm still in awe over it. We're going to play it again.
What I said earlier.
We're going to play it again.
Don't touch me, I'm sizzling.
Don't touch him. He's sizzling, bro. He was crazy in this second half, bro. Absolutely crazy. Pistons get the win. Real quickly, they are alive for the 5th seed. They hold their fate. If they win the final 2 games against the Bucks, they will jump to the 5, and they'll play Indiana in the first round. If they lose one of these games, they will be playing against the New York Knicks. They will be playing against the New York Knicks if they lose one of these games. I don't think they should throw either of those games. It goes against my competitive nature. And I don't think you can set the precedent that we're going to be like, oh, we want this matchup, so we're going to throw one of these games. I would not like doing that. I would not like doing that. Go out there, play your best. Whatever happens, happens. I would not be a fan of. Do I want the Pistons to play the Knicks? Sure. I also would like it if they play the Pacers. I think that would be fun. I would not. I wouldn't come on here killing them for it. I would not be a fan, though, if they went out and tried to throw one of these games to try to go for the Knicks. I just wouldn't be a fan of it. It goes against everything. All my competitive being in my body. I would not mess with it. But I do think it's a non-zero chance. I think it's a non-zero chance the Pistons may try to do that. Non-zero. Not likely, but it's a non-zero chance they may try to do it. We'll find out, but Pistons win 115-106. They let the Knicks know, if we see you in the playoffs, this ain't going to be easy. And we might send y'all back home. Knicks better be ready. Knicks better be ready. I'll look at the chat real quick before we wrap up. Civ, definitely. It was one. If it's not the best win of the season, it's one of their best wins of the season. This was the Knicks tried to punk them, and the Knicks and the Pistons responded and let them know that's not happening. Not happening. The Pacers. I don't think the Pacers could pass it. I thought the NBA Communications just put out a post that said the highest the Pacers could go was the 4th. I may be off of that, but I'm pretty sure I just saw NBA Communications talk about that or post a graphic saying that the highest the Pacers could go was the 4th. They were locked into that. But anyways, we'll wrap up the podcast there. Got you guys with a double upload today. Hope you guys enjoy it. We had to get one out for this game. This game was crazy. This game truly was insane. Great game from the team. Great win. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. Check out the playback room. Join us for the playoff games coming up, the upcoming Bucks games. Substack room, or not Substack room. Substack page. Subscribe over there if you guys want more Pistons content from me. LockedOnDaily.com for your Locked On Pistons daily newsletter. And until the next one, I'll see you guys later. Go Pistons. Actually, real quick before we end it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace out.